So at this point, I've basically embraced that I am an Optimus Prime collector. I like collecting various iterations of Optimus Prime. It's so interesting. He's gotten so many different iterations and toys and designs and engineering methods, and he's just so interesting to have toys of. Optimus Prime is just great. And that's why I absolutely love the classic Robots in Disguise 2001 Optimus Prime. I think in Japan this was called Car Robots, and maybe he was called Fire Convoy, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the Robots in Disguise figure. This is his American release. And it is amazing, and I had to make a video on it. Normally I start in robot mode, but for this guy, I feel like the main event is at the end. And you just go from like cool to cooler to, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So yeah, this is his fire truck mode. You can see it rolls really well. It is admittedly not the most durable. You can see it kind of wants to wibble away and come apart if you start messing with it too much. You just gotta like make sure it's fully tabbed in and everything. I mean, it will roll, but if you like pick it up and handle it, it's gonna want to start coming to pieces because it's made out of various pieces. Just looking at some elements of the fire truck, you can see the front here. Press that. And then he's got little nozzles that shoot out. I love that. That hinges. You can extend this. It goes very, very far. And I just popped it out. That's a first. I've never popped it out before. How do you pop it back in? Okay, I've never popped it out before. There you go. Yeah, just be careful not to pop it out, I guess. But yeah, that can extend, and it goes very, very far. It basically doubles. So that's really cool. But another thing you may have also noticed, these can fold down, I guess, if you want to use it for like the missiles. Because let's get this condensed, because that's just too long. He has a button back here, and it missiles. Well, come on, there you go. Yeah, he's loaded. He's got 4 missiles that just come out of the fire truck, because fire trucks need to add to the fire every once in a while, you know? So, yeah, he's come packing with some firepower of his own. So, yeah, that's a cool little gimmick, I think. Stay together, buddy. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to review you. So yeah, how you get those back in, you just have to like flip them back, keep them all down. I don't think they just tab in. You have to like press the button again to relatch them, and then hope for the best. There you go. So yeah, that's a cool feature. You can rotate that. You can see it's got a lot of details. It's got a little seat right there with a little like control panel. Obviously got a robot mode head right there. And yes, I said a robot mode and not the robot mode. He's got a little ladder on the other side. He's got this little nozzle you can plug onto various parts. I usually just keep it there because you can just keep it there in robot and truck mode. He's got a little Japanese right there, Cybertron. Autobot logo. He's got rubber tires, which are really great. What does it say on those? Fire Convoy. Yep, Fire Convoy. And then Fire Convoy, Fire Convoy. Is this... I think this is the package I got it in was the Robots in Disguise, like American box. But yeah, maybe they just kept Fire Convoy on those just for the sake of simplicity for the US release. But yeah, that's pretty much the fire truck mode. It's really sweet. I love the big old windows. It does have lights and sounds. You just press that button right there. And you just got the siren. It does have other effects, but that's pretty much the only effect for truck mode. It actually randomizes them, like...
Optimus Prime, maximize!
I guess we'll do that. So yeah, it's random effects. You can see it just randomly cycles. It just randomly goes through, so you can't really pick what you want him to say. It just worked out that he did the fire truck for this video. So yeah, you have this component, and then you have all of that. Let's transform this one first. Because he's got a decent amount going on. This is a very heavy component. Let me raise the camera because it's time to transform the big robot. Hello, paperweight. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, that's good. Whoop. All right. So this is the core robot right here. And how it transforms is pretty unique. You can see the front basically like totally uncurls, right? Then you just untab everything. Man, he's just such a cool figure. I love him. This is one of my favorite pickups of the year for sure. Got it at the toy department in Fairfield, Ohio, by the way, if you were wondering. Yeah, you can see I'm basically just doing it. Really love how the legs come together. It's just so cool, man. It's so cool. And he feels so chunky, too. He feels so beefy and quality and chunky. And honestly, I love the bigger robot, but I am tempted to get another figure of this that is just, like, maybe an incomplete one that is just this smaller robot. Because I genuinely just love this smaller Optimus Prime. Slide those panels down, bend that. Then finally, for the head reveal, let's get his feet straight. Gotta make sure the panels for the feet, gotta make sure fully lined up. There we go. His knees straight. All right. Head reveal, just push down. And you can press the button too if you want. It just makes it look cooler.
Optimus Prime, maximize.
Aw, I love that. It's so cool. Really cool robot mode too. I love his head sculpt. I love this head sculpt. And look at how shiny he is. He just really gives me like early 2000s super robot vibes. He's got metallic eyes. He's got metallic red at the chest. Metallic blue. It's like chrome red, but like metallic blue at the chest there. He does not have a lot of blue on him. This is pretty much the most blue you ever see. A little bit of blue on the legs there. A little bit of yellow. I love how the wheels are just there. I love that detail. His arms look pretty cool. A lot of white. A lot of white is revealed. He's got like this creamy white color. Yeah, look at his head, though. I just love his head. That's just the coolest head from like an early 2000s Optimus Prime I've ever seen. I love that head. Yeah, I really want this figure just on his own on my shelf, as well as the big robot. I want them both. I want them both, and I hate it. So yeah, let's go over his articulation. So as you can see, he's got a ball joint at the head because he's coming straight out of Beast Wars. So that's why he still says maximize. Because in RID, it was like the transition from Beast back to Cars. You can see he's got like the universal joints at the shoulders, kind of a butterfly there. Hinge at the elbow, swivel at the elbow. I don't think he has a wrist. Oh, he does. He has a little ball joint at the wrist. So keep that in mind. He does have a ball joint. He has nothing actually, he does have a waist. I keep saying he has nothing, but he actually does. Just kind of hindered because of the transformation, so I wouldn't really move it. Hips, a click, a lot of click. Hinge at the knee, no thigh swivel, but given how old this thing is, you know, you can kind of forgive it. Hinge at the knee, and then he has a ball joint at the foot. So you can actually get him in some more dynamic poses. He does have really tiny feet, though. Yeah, you can also stretch those out, but that's for the super robot. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Boom, there you go, just posed up, classic RID Optimus Prime. Man, I love this figure. I really want, I need to just get another one of this. Because honestly, like, it's easy to find at bare bones. But what it's not easy to find is with all of these components. There's a lot. So first components, they tab in just with these holes on the side, or for the arms. So you have the arm components, and then these kind of tab in with a little clip there. It tabs in right there. You have the shoulder components. So you have those. This is why I had to find this guy complete, because I needed all these components. Because if he was missing something, I would just not like it. I would just be like, he's incomplete. Another shoulder. And then this is like his back and his chest and his head. Just all right there. And then these are his feet. So yeah, that's a lot of components to make him a super robot. So let's get cracking. I love this transformation, by the way. I love, love, love it. Open this up. Flip this piece out. Flip his foot out. But before you flip it all the way, flip in the wheels, and then flip it all the way out. He also has these missiles, too, because you can also, like, arm him up in this mode. Like, you can put... Here, let's kind of fold him back up a little bit. You can, like, put the missiles on his shoulders. I almost forgot to mention, because I wouldn't really do that, because it looks kind of stupid. You can put the missiles on his shoulders, too. I love that. And they're also that nice metallic blue. So, yeah, you have, like, alternate configurations you can do with them, too. So, just letting you know, you can do stuff. You can do stuff and things. But that's not the main event. No one's really going to display him like that, because that looks kind of dumb. So, flip this out again. Come on out. Come on out. I keep the thumbnail long and it still gives me issues. And then this is why the feet are tiny, because they just plug into that little hole right there. And then this piece works as a clasp to keep the foot on. So that's one super boot. And then he's in need of another super boot. So let's do that. Flip this out. Flip this out. Flip that halfway, fold in the wheels, flip it in the rest. Plug in the foot. Plug in the clasp. And now he has super boots. So he's got the super boots. And then to prepare the rest of his body, let's just go ahead and do this. We'll fold these down, but do not fold them all the way down, especially if you still want to use lights and sounds. Because if you fold them all the way in, it pinches the button, and the button gets stuck. Like right now, the button is stuck. You do not want to have them all the way. So, because I was wondering, like, why is the button stuck? Turned out it was that. And then we'll stretch the shoulders out, and then... Yes, you're maximizing. Yes, we're transforming. Pull this up, but it doesn't need to be up all the way, because we'll push it back down just a little bit. So he is getting ready to put on his big boy gloves. Big boy gloves, big boy gloves. So just unfold those, tabs in right there, flip that down, flip these over, gives him a little bit more blue, and big boy glove. Let's give him another big boy glove. So yet again, flip this out. Basically accordions inside out, which is pretty cool. Plug that in, flip that, boop and boop. All right, another big boy glove. And then the shoulders are easier. This silver bar is the outside. These just kind of rest right in there. Pretty easy to just slide those in. They don't feel super secure though. They just kind of slide in just ever so gently. So yeah, those just kind of slide in more gently. And then let's raise it up just one more notch because he's going to get big. Because he's a big boy. It's big RID Optimus Prime. So there isn't much to do with this part. I just flip this all the way down right now. Flip this piece up. And just flip those little nozzles back in. And then we'll take this, 3 tabs right there. 3 tabs on the top. Plug them in. Oops, see, you want to make sure it doesn't happen. Because you want to keep them up just long enough to get all that tabbed in into place, and then it'll kind of go down to the position it needs to go. Then flip that down, get that all flush, push your shoulders back in, straighten his little ears, and there you go. There you have RID Optimus Prime in like his big boy super mode. He is so chunky. He is so heavy. He feels so good. And he is so big. Why are you so big? He's so big, though. Here, let me get a comparison. Whoop! He just fell. He'll be perfect. Here he is with, geez, what's his name? The DeLorean. The DeLorean guy. I forget his name. Yeah, there he is with the deluxe right there. You can see he's a pretty big boy. he's a pretty heckin' chonker. And just for fun, here he is with the little Spy Changer Scourge. So you can see Scourge is gonna be like, I'm gonna get you Optimus Prime, and then he's like, not today. And then he's gonna go. And by maximize, he's just gonna swat Scourge away. No! So yeah, because he is so big and chonk now, that is going to inhibit his articulation just a little bit. He has a ball joint at the head still. He still has a swivel at the shoulders. He still has an outward at the shoulders, but he's just got so much going on. Still has the elbow range, but see, once you get here, it's just so much going on. He has more hand articulation. You have a ball joint at the hand and a hinge at the thumb. So if you want him kind of putting his hand more up like that, you can for whatever reason. But I don't really have to do that. Just kind of leave it as it is. You don't really have the waist anymore. Still have the hips. This is why they had those heavy ratchets. Still have the knees, but you do not have anything in the feet anymore. You do have a little bit of toe, I guess, but why would you really want to do that? So yeah, big boy Superbot Prime. He's got this little gun. You can tab it in there. You can tab it in there. You can tab it in maybe on his hand, maybe, possibly. I don't know, I haven't tried that yet. Probably not. Not really. You got little side panels, you can tab it in there, maybe, no. Yeah, just leave it on his shoulder. It looks cooler on his shoulder, just leave it there. Really small weapon, though. That's actually one of the parts you're not going to find super often. And you can still, if you're so inclined, if you are so inclined, you can still get this up over his head. And it looks cool. It does look cool having this up over his head. Let me bring the camera up a little bit. It does look nice and big and cool. So you have that high little weird lamp that looks like an egg. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can do all the missile stuff. You can extend it if you want. So that still kind of makes him like an operable, like, fire robot. So that's pretty cool. Because honestly, it's like you look at this and you think, that doesn't really look like Optimus Prime too much. And you're right. I don't look at this and see Optimus Prime. I look at this and see super awesome early 2000s fire truck robot toy. That is who I see when I look at this. And that's what it is, man. Like, just look at him. He doesn't really have the Optimus Prime look anymore. But look at that head. That still invokes so much power and so much awesomeness. It's got these metallic ear things that can flip down and be like guns or something. Man, he's still got the metallic eyes, the silver paint. Man, I love that head. That's why it's like that's why he'll probably be displayed in this mode, because I mean all the parts are used and everything. But I also want to display him in the small mode. He's got a lot of nice detail on the chest, reveals some orange to the color scheme, which is interesting. But you lose a lot of the blue, and you don't have blue on the head anymore. So some people, like a friend of mine, was like, it doesn't have a lot of blue in it. That is true. I kind of wish that had a little bit more blue in the design. Like, if the head was still blue, that would look really cool. But hey, I mean, it kind of gives this Optimus an identity of his own. And I'm kind of for that. I really do like this figure. And I just absolutely had to share it in a video, because this is by far one of my favorite classic early 2000s big chonky clonky clickety robot figures from the early 2000s Transformers lines that I have. It's up there, man. This is up there. Definitely cooler than Energon Optimus, I can tell you that. I think it's up there with the Cybertron Optimus. I think this thing's really criminally underrated. I love this figure. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of RID, if you're a fan of Optimus Prime, or if you're just a fan of big, clonky, chonky, early 2000s transforming robots. Because I personally am. And this thing, I have zero regrets. I normally don't spend big bucks on Transformers. This thing only cost me like $75, I think, which is still a lot of money, but also, man, this thing's nice. Ooh, worth it. Totally worth it. 100%. Man, I love it. I do think they did an encore. I think Takara re-released it, but they got rid of all the vac metal, so it makes it look not as cool, and makes it look less like early 2000s. So I would go and try to get the original 2001 release from either Car Robots or Robots in Disguise. Alrighty, guys, there we go. There's my review of Big Old Fire Convoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.